I am going to change servers to be US Central, just in case Bo gets a better ping from that. There we go. Okay. All right. Here goes. Oh, shit. Just a minute. Dungeons. Do you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, John? John?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can.
I can
Hello.
hear you too. Hello.
Right.
I was muted because we were starting the show.
No,
but I'll be back.
It's not your fault. I
Hello.
want to make sure I didn't kill my audio by not know it. Okay.
Scotty-O killed the audio star.
Scotty-O. Nice. I like it. I'm going to start my own video hosting service called Scotty-O.com.
It's perfect. I love it.
Sign up today and get great discounts on vaguely copyrighted content. Okay, here goes, everybody. It's time. It starts in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons from ThereWillBeDungeons.com. A chance for us to play D&D together and with you and continue our campaign deep into the wacky world that Bo Schwartz has made for us. We're joined by him, myself, Scott Johnson, John Jagger, Kristen Ashton, of course, Kyle Ferguson, and we're going to dive right in today and get right back at it with a reading of minutes from last time we met here on There Will Be Dungeons by Kristen. Kristen, take it away.
Last time on There Will Be Dungeons, nasty ninjas neglected to knock. Fracturing Finetras, they locked the lizard man, clearly their combat quarry. Foregoing a fray, Varel peeled for the Princess of Pain's patronage to no note. Nothing Nash and Squirts deterred the deluge and the din. Finally accepting aid would be absent, Varel finally fought, knocking the notable ninja. Squirts froze her feet and a mattress mangled her. Questions were to be claimed until Nash barfed bile on her body, dealing deadly damage that dissolved the detractor. The morning met them with more M-fighting mayhem. The public house was packed with purveyors of the potential prize winner. Contracts cascaded until Kittigree came and called them to a cauldron where he crafted a classified cordial for Varel to consume. Migrating from the mess, the little lizard folk determined to demand a different dad met mortality at the magic of Squirts. Silent sat stout as she lugged his lifeless lump to a lulled lane. There she revived the rapscallion, and to his roost he ran. Contracts now canceled, they sought the Soggy Feather as sponsor and made to market to get a custom cape. There, Nash finally found keys to cast spells, but keys were costly, and they had netted nothing but regalia and ruined reputations. Now rejoin our heroes as they prepare to pander to the public. What was the elevated eyeball ensnaring? Will they ever uncover the assassination authorization? And how will the media maul the true tale behind the brawl with the baby? Stay tuned for today's adventure through the secret streets and baffling beats of Sigil.
All right, Bo, we missed you. It's yours now.
The party finds itself walking through the aisles of the Great Bazaar. There are stalls everywhere, endlessly. And Varel has just received his new cape featuring the sponsor, the Soggy Feather, emblazoned in a beautiful font on the back, but a font that's legible from a far distance. Definitely designed with theatrics in mind. The four of you are walking down the bazaar, whatever.
Bazaar.
In the Great Market, bazaar, in the Great Market of Sigil. And that's where we left off last week. And it's about noon. You've got about an hour left to return to the Soggy Feather to get your escort to the Colosseum. The streets and market stalls are busy, filled with people. What would you like to do?
We should probably hoof it back and hurry.
Yeah,
We only have an hour.
let's be on time.
Yeah.
Or there is a potion in my belly that might activate at any moment.
Certainly. So you all decide to leave the bazaar and make your way to the Soggy Feather. Now, as you're exiting the area of the bazaar, everyone is perceptive enough to notice that as you walk by, You see people sort of look at you and point, and then speak to a nearby friend, perhaps acquaintance, and talk privately in hushed tones. But you don't encounter any particular confrontation of any kind. You just see that people are talking about you.
I'll yell at them as we pass.
What do you yell?
He's alive.
Very well. So you yell these things, but you make your way back to the Soggy Feather, and as you walk down the street, you see that Bill is up on a ladder, and he's taking down the giant sign that has the picture of Varel, saying that this is the proud home of Varel, who drinks arcane spice. And he's up on the ladder.
I will approach the base of the ladder and yell up at Bill. Bill, observe! And I will do a flourish and spin, and as I turn around, I will pull it taut so he can read it as it goes by.
Varel, that looks fantastic.
Thank you, Bill.
Say, I have a question for you.
Yes?
Do you think people know about what happened with the kid?
Probably.
They know he's still alive, right?
Not likely.
Wait. He's not alive?
No, he's alive. This is just how
Okay.
towns always go.
Big Trick! It was Big Trick! Biggest trick squirts ever do!
Well, just make sure you spread the word that he's still alive. I don't want to be sponsoring a child murderer.
No worries. We have no plans to kill other children today.
That's great. That's just great. He returns back to removing the sign down.
Does an eyeball floating in the air mean anything to you, Bill?
You mean you met someone like that?
No, there was a very quick eyeball that then zoomed off while I was in the market.
Oh, that's a floaty.
A floaty.
Sure. They observe and report. They're used often in journalism,
I see.
but they can perform all kinds of tasks. Mostly you just ignore them.
Well, as towns go.
Unless you've got some sort of secret that you're not supposed to tell people. Then maybe
No,
they
no.
might see the secret. And then, that's your secret. Not a secret anymore. Is there something I should be worried about?
Well, everyone believes I killed the child, Bill.
Wait, you just said that wouldn't be an issue.
Because this is how it always goes.
Okay, then. Well, if you need to eat anything before your match, just help yourself in the kitchen. I gotta take this down. I don't want to get in trouble. Since this contract is null and void because of this morning's incident.
All right, we'll head in.
All right, you head inside, and there's no clientele in the business. It's just calm and quiet. You're in the main dining area.
Well then.
Is there any preparations you'd like to make in advance of today?
No, I'd be afraid to eat anymore because I might upset whatever's magically happening. So I would sit and wait.
All right. Well, you all enter in and sort of stand in a circle, sort of contemplating silently what comes next, what to do. And the other members of the party notice that there's a large green bubble forming on Varel's shoulder.
Like
Looks like a really large snot bubble, but it's made of his skin.
and it's growing, you say? Like,
Yeah, it must have grown between then and the time that you were at the bazaar, but it's about the size of a human fist.
Varel, your shoulder. That looks bad.
I look at my shoulder.
All right, you look around at your shoulder. You in fact see what I just described, which was a sort of snot bubble made out of your flesh. This sort of infected bubble that looks like it's angry and red and green and about to burst.
Let me pop it. Can I pop it? Let me pop it.
You don't normally ask for permission to do such things.
Well, when it comes to something on your person, I feel like I can't just assume.
Do it.
Okay. I'm going to go over there and... Oh, what do I have to pop it with? Oh, geez. I will gently... My aorta that currently has a mouth coming out of it, I will gently extend that forward and bite the bubble.
Okay. Make an attack roll, please.
Oh, an attack roll. Jeez Louises. All right. That would be an 18.
All right. It's a hit. Roll damage. Bite damage. So 1 plus your strength modifier.
1d6.
You don't have to roll anything. So
1d6.
no, you don't have to roll anything. There's no roll. It's 1 plus your strength modifier, whatever that is.
Which is 1 then. Because I don't have
you do 1 point of damage to Varel.
Yeah.
And you burst it, and a pussy yellow liquid just covers your mouth and splooshes down his shoulder. Varel, you are now poisoned.
Wait. Wouldn't he be
poisoned? You have whatever's in there in your mouth, Nash.
But wouldn't he be poisoned before it popped? It's in him.
He would have, but now the effects have taken place since
Okay.
you popped it.
All right.
And he is now poisoned, which means you have disadvantage on all attack rolls and ability checks, which is going to include your performance later today as a wave of fatigue washes over you, Varel. Now, the thing that you recognize is that this injury where the swelling was also where you were hit with the dart the night before by the
Oh
ninja
man, but I totally got
assailants.
like a 24 on that.
There's some slow-acting agents involved, apparently.
Well, damn. All right. Well, I will hold on to my lunch, as it is very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel awful, and I will sit down.
Okay, Varel sits down, uncharacteristically seeming a little weak in spirit. There's a large, sort of gushing waterfall of pus going down his shoulder. Does anyone have the cure to poison?
No.
I've got many spells, but that's not one of them.
Uh-oh.
Not today, anyway.
All right. With that, as you sort of assess the situation, there's a door swings open, and the same, somewhere between an elf and a human-looking gentleman walks in and says, "Hello, I've returned back to collect Varel for the competition. We have his escort here. Varel, hello. Oh my! What appears to be some kind of injury on your shoulder. Are you all right?"
I've been poisoned by my competitor.
That is a strong accusation. Let's perhaps walk that back a little bit.
I only
right?
walk forward, and it is not an accusation, it is a
Nope.
fact.
Walking is a figure of speech, good sir. I don't mean literally walking. A competitor, you say, did this? Explain this.
I was attacked by assassins in the evening of last night, and they threw a many thin darts at me. And now, hours later, I have succumbed to this devious poison.
Well, I have no doubt you speak true about the assassins. What is the link to the competition? You say it was a competitor. Did one of the competitors do this to you last night?
Yes.
Which
Bill
one?
said that they were called ninjas, and that rhymes with Kanja.
No, no, that's not a connection you can make through rhyming. You say it was ninjas. They were an assassin's guild. And do you have any proof that any one of the competitors are linked to this assassin's guild?
I have all their clothes and their symbols.
Of the competitors? How did you manage that?
Of the assassins.
Okay, can I have a look at them?
You may. But seeing as this is a city, I expect them to be gone now.
What? The clothes?
Yes, the clothes would be upstairs, but this is a city, which means it is more devious than that, and the clothes are likely gone due to some foul workings.
Perhaps we can check before jumping to strange conclusions about about why they would be missing when we don't even know.
Very well. Upstairs,
all right.
then.
All right. Would someone accompany me upstairs, please? A manager, perhaps?
Yes, the manager can join us.
Yes, let's go look. Let's
All right.
go follow.
So who's going upstairs? Squirts is?
I'm gonna stay.
Nothing is sticking with Varel, so if Varel goes, nothing follows.
I'm staying downstairs.
Varel?
It's a pain in
You
my
staying
ass.
downstairs?
I'll go upstairs as best I can.
Okay, so only Nash stays downstairs. And everyone makes their way up one at a time, up the stairwell, and then down the hallway. And the door is ajar. I think you guys left it ajar, though, so nothing strange about that. And as you make your way into the room, you see that the room is as you pretty much left it, including the combat. No, Bill hasn't been up to clean or anything like that. So the clothes are on the floor. All right, so it looks like we have quite a mess in here.
This is where we were attacked.
Here are
And-
clothes. See clothes. These ninjas.
He gets down and he looks at it and he says, I'm very sorry for you, Vorel. It does seem you were attacked last night. Is this perhaps, could it be something other than a competitor? I'm not seeing anything jumping out to suggest a competitor is behind this.
I have been here all of 3 days, and I've spent 2 of those days playing M Sports.
Would you say you've been here 2 days? You mean in Sigil?
Yes.
Is this your first time in Sigil?
Yes.
So you're fresh off the portal?
As one might say.
Well, so I'm looking at these insignias here, and this does appear to be. You've made quite the enemy here. It's the Order of the Crimson Moon, a much whispered about Assassin's Guild. I don't know whose ire you could have spurred to warrant such expensive assassination. But I don't see anything linking it to a competitor. I mean, is there something else to learn here?
No, that's what you would say.
Well, I need evidence before I can accuse a competitor. There are 7 others. How do I know which one? Assuming it even is one.
Well, this is usually my fault. See, when I first get into town, everyone gets really mad at me. And then I find someone trustworthy, like you, for instance, and they take all my information at face value and tell me it's going to be okay. But they're the real vampire, and later on they betray me.
Oh no, I assure you I'm no vampire. Look, the big time Smackaroo M Sports competition league does take these complaints very seriously. So when we get to the event, perhaps you can fill out a formal incident report. However, without anything linking of it, the carriage of justice dictates that we'd have to find someone responsible. I need evidence showing that it was someone specific. It seems like they took great care to make sure that there's no link back if it is indeed a competitor. And might I suggest perhaps dropping this line of complaints? Only because, well, I read the bulletin this afternoon, and, well, I don't mean no offense, and I don't want to start an argument with you, but it seems perhaps there was an unfortunate altercation that was a bit extreme relating to your manager.
Squirts is still rifling through the clothes.
So, you're not exactly going to be a sympathetic complainant.
Let me tell you something. If I were to kill a child in broad daylight, or my manager to do so, would the Lady of Pain not have intervened?
Her ways are a mystery. I can't explain what the Lady of Pain does or doesn't. I just try to make sure to stay on the right side of things. Yes, that's what we all do.
And you believe that the right side of things would be to not kill children in front of many people.
Well, it just so happens I believe that infanticide in any shape or form is highly unethical. But I'm sure your manager had her reasons. In order to carry out my function, I'm simply here to carry you through to the Colosseum and prepare you for the day. If you have a complaint, I will hear the information and we can bring it before the committee. But the competition's only in a few hours. We're not going to get much results unless you have some sort of damning evidence.
So you're saying that I am to enter this competition with my reputation in tatters and my physical health incapable of playing the game.
You're incapable of playing.
I
How
feel
so?
like vomiting every second of the moment.
Well, that's unfortunate. Did you get sick? I don't.
My
I don't think
shoulder
you-
is oozing pus, sir.
I saw that. I thought it was well, I thought it was quite gross, but it's not for me to interfere. I'm simply here to escort you, provide you with information you need, whatever you need to get to the competition. I'm not a doctor or can't be taking care of you.
Ah, doctors. You will take me to a doctor.
There is a physician at the facility, mainly in case of injury during the event, but
I was injured during the event.
okay, I think we can accommodate you in that way. We can bring you to one of our physicians. Yes, would you like that?
Yes, I would.
Very, very good. Okay. Right. So we're gonna drop this this complaint here. There's nothing here pointing to one of the competitors. I would recommend dropping this complaint.
You will not hear of it again.
Right. Okay. That works for me. I have a carriage outside which will take you to the event. I would strongly recommend that everyone here leave any magic items they possess somewhere safe because they will be confiscated. They're not permitted on the competition grounds. So, fair warning to you to get rid of any magical items.
Nothing points to herself. Bodyguard. And then points at the sword.
Bodyguards are permitted, but magical items are not. It's to ensure no disruption of fairness during the competition. We can't have anyone cheating. Even if you weren't to cheat with it, it's an issue of trust between the competitors, and those are the rules we've established to make sure that there's no incidents. So please leave your magical items somewhere safe. Here, you can deposit them rather than have them confiscated by security. It would be much better.
We're still in the room, right?
Sure. Yes.
Nothing as quickly as she can unsheaths the sword and throws it into whatever the nearest part of the floor near him is.
Okay.
Just the short sword of warning.
All
Just
right.
the
Like
magic
into
one.
you stab the floor with the sword.
Yeah, just throw it at him.
Yeah, Bill's gonna like that.
There's already marks. It's fine.
Ruining his floors. is
Room's
like-
already damaged. It's good.
Is that it? Just the one sword? Anyone else have magic items? How
I'm
about
down.
your manager? Manager, do you have magic items? Make sure they
Squirts
stay.
will scurry into the trash can. You'll hear a little rattle as something is dropped, and then she'll scurry back out.
Okay. So is everyone actually getting rid of their magic items, or is anyone trying? I need to know if anyone's trying to sneak magic items.
I'm downstairs, so I don't even know this is being asked. And,
Yeah.
and I am a magical
That includes
item.
your the stone you have pressed into your forehead. Squirts.
Yeah, that's what I dropped.
Okay, perfect. He doesn't see what you dropped. You did it in the trash can. Okay, Varel, you probably don't have any items. All right. Okay, then I will be waiting for you in the carriage just outside. Please hurry. We don't want to keep. We don't want to be late for the competition. It's a big day. You could win 5,000 gold pieces. It's exciting. Well, okay, then I'm off. And then he begins to descend the stairs.
Well, we go then.
Okay. And on his way out, the escort looks at you, Nash, and says, "Make sure to leave any magical items behind."
I am a magical item, and I turn my face or whatever passes for my face away from him.
If you're a being with a magical nature, that's fine. There's not. We really can't uninvite people because of that. So I understand. Just any items.
I have
And he
none.
exits. He exits the building.
Okay.
All right. So everyone else makes their way downstairs. They're ready to go. Right. So you can exit as well. Anything else for anyone?
As nothing goes to leave, she'll find Bill, and just Bill, and then
Bill's outside. Yeah.
Okay, as we're looking up, Bill.
What?
Point to her eye, and then make the sound of a sword unsheathing and indicate up in the room.
He goes, "All right, sure." You're not convinced he completely understood your instruction.
It'll be clear enough.
It's clear enough. All right. But as you exit, you do see that there's a horse-drawn carriage that has 6 horses up in front of it and a large ornate carriage where you can get in, and this escort is sitting atop it, and he reaches over and flicks a button on the top and the doors swing open, and he says, "Please now get in. We'll make our way to the Colosseum." Good luck in your competition today. I'll try and make it out there.
Yes, we go. Good luck. Let us win. Mighty squirts, away.
All right, the kobold gets in saying these things.
I'll climb in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get in also, or I'll hop in.
Climb
with
in
my
after
leg.
Varel.
All right, the 4 of you get in, and the escort closes the door, and you're sitting on these very comfortable seats, two on one side, 2 on the other, facing each other, and you hear a yeah, and then you hear like whip sound, and then you hear the clatter of horse hooves on the cobblestone street. Click, 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 click. And you have some moments of silence alone before the main competition begins. Is there anything you'd like to say to one another before the day begins?
What's the nature of my poison that's affecting me?
It's a poison status. So
Okay.
What you would know about, you don't know much about the poison, except that it was slow acting. And right now you would have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. So that's going to affect your performance today.
Now, do
Is
I
there
have
any-
this... Oh, go ahead.
No saves associated with it for the time.
No.
Okay.
You just have it.
Do I have the same? I mean, I'm not competing in the M Sports thing, but do I have the same limitations?
Well, you're not sure. You took a big mouthful of the pus, so it's unclear if there was any toxins in the actual pus,
Yeah.
or if the pus was just
Ugh.
pus.
You decided this, man.
Yeah. I feel like it seemed more transparent in my imagination and less full of something, but now
Well, I did
know.
describe it as a bubble, and there was definitely an air pocket in there, but it also
Right.
revealed a lot of pus. So,
Great.
mistakes happen.
Yeah. Usually to me, but it's good. I'm fine.
I don't know. I think you asked for it a little bit. You're like, what can I pierce it with? My mouth. Anyways, so as you minutes goes by, you feel that you're again in a different district, although you don't recognize the passage you're traveling, the roads taken. But soon, looking out the window, you see it moves from a more urban medieval housing type situation to a place where there appears to be these large buildings. And as you look out into the distance from a window in the front, you can see that there is a large coliseum at the center of a large square, an opening square. And there's a mass of people outside, and you begin to hear trumpeting. And there's like people yelling and shouting. There seems to be circles of people with buskers, and there's celebration, all kinds of stuff happening. And your cart cuts through the crowd as it gets closer towards this coliseum. You have the blinds or curtains drawn currently, but you could, of course, open it and make yourself known to the people, or you can proceed stealthily to the building. It's up to you.
What say you, Varel?
I will pull my new cape. Am I still oozing?
I mean, you didn't clean it up, so yeah, you've got like, it's not oozing anymore, but there is ooze. The wound is there, present
Okay,
and
but
clean.
all right, I will use the curtain to
Yeah.
wipe it off,
Okay.
and then I will pull my cape over it
Uh huh.
to hide the wound, and I
Mm-hmm.
will pull myself up straight, take a big breath in, and say, Squirts,
Yes,
what is our backup plan?
you win.
Yes. Is Kanja particularly afraid of being nude on stage?
He not new, he old. He win many time.
Nude. Made naked.
Oh, no clothes, no clothes. Oh, that funny trick. That funny
Yes.
trick. You
We will need a
clothes
backup
wearers,
plan.
You full shame when no clothes.
All I need to do today is shame Kanja. Then I get my friends back. So, nothing. We're going to need a backup plan. I may be incapable of winning this game. Right, I asked the bird for a plan. Nash,
Yes.
we're going to need a backup plan.
Oh, Varel, I've got one leg, and I don't know how good I'm going to be at these plans, but
He just needs a plan. You got your one.
I'm just
your one
kind of. I
leg.
feel pretty
No
useless.
plan here.
I don't have much of a plan, but if you want to talk about a plan, I'm more than willing to do it. But if it involves me needing to move anywhere, just be forewarned. I don't have a lot of movement.
We're still missing all your spells, yes?
Yeah, I guess I need a key.
Can
Maybe
you borrow a key?
Multiple keys. I'd take any key if someone had a key. But it turns out the only way I know of in this town to get a key is to pay for one with gold I don't have. It's a real shit show.
All right. Well, we'll make it up as we go. And I'll stick my head out the window real quick to check the Coliseum if it's wood.
All right, you stick your head out real quick, and you look at the Coliseum, and it's a stone building.
Damn it. Can't burn down the Coliseum.
It's there's a lot of statues that you notice all out on the outside of various warriors, large archways. Travels the height very high. It's a sight to behold. It's quite the building. All right.
Hunker down and get ready for the show.
All right. Well, you proceed in quietly then, without making much ado to the crowd, and eventually shade. There was, light spilling into the windows. It's eventually become shade as you enter into one of the archways and move deeply into the building. Then the sounds of trumpeting and cheering become muted behind you as you go deeper into this building. And then eventually the carriage stops. You hear a "yeah," and the carriage stops. And the door is open, and you hear the cheery voice of the escort go, "Well, Varel, you're here. Everyone out now.
All right.
Please.
I will.
Make your way this way." And there's a doorway. It's an archway, and he walks to the doorway and puts his hand out and motions for you to go through.
I'll put my hand round the carriage edges and pull myself out.
I'll hop out. Literally.
Yep, continue to fall.
Yep, Squirts follows as well.
All right. Make your way this way to the security checkpoint. They're gonna just check you to make sure that you don't have any, forbidden
Lingering
items.
sicknesses.
Well, sicknesses are not against the rules. That's just an unfortunate thing. But I did promise you the physician, so just make your way through the security checkpoint, and we'll go see the physician post haste. Sound good?
Very good.
All right. All right. So as you make your way down the hallway, you see that there are two orcs and a robed man whom you can't see his face. standing near a doorway. There are some tables, and one of the orcs comes lumbering up to you, Vorel, and goes, "Put out your arms."
Whoa.
I do so.
All right, he begins patting your arms, patting your chest and legs, and he goes, "Mm." And then there's a robed man with what looks to be like some sort of ping pong paddle. And he steps to you and he says, "I'm going to check you for any magical items. Please stand still while I do this." And then he takes the ping pong paddle and he sort of moves it around your head and arms and legs. And then he nods and says, "You may proceed." All right. And then Squirts, you're up next. So you're not sneaking any items in, right, Squirts?
Correct. I have nothing
Fine.
this time except chunks.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So you get same treatment, a pat down, and the ping pong. Same with you. Nothing. You're not trying to sneak anything in.
Nope,
I need
she's
to
got
know.
weapons,
Okay.
but no magic items.
Weapons are fine. No magic items as you undergo the same thing. And then Nash, the orc comes up to you and he goes, "All right, I need you to spread your whatever you are out."
You'll have to give me more detail than that, pal. What do you mean spread
Well,
me whatever
just-
I am out?
"I need to check your limbs for any hidden things."
Well, I got the one down there. That's the only leg I have currently. Here's a little hand and here's an arm. And I'll stretch out and stand tall on the leg and balance for him.
All right. Since you're not wearing any clothes, he does like a visual inspection, but he doesn't really feel the need to touch you. The orc also seems hesitant to touch you. And then he motions for you to go over to the robed man. And the robed man steps up and takes the ping pong paddle, and it begins glowing blue as he examines your heart area. He goes, "It seems that there is some magical energy emanating from this heart-shaped thing. Is this one of your items, Vorel?"
That is a man.
He's right. I am a man. Right now, I'm less man than I used to be, but I'm getting there, and I just happen to be magical. I don't have any items on me. I am who I am.
Are you a man of magical nature?
Yes.
I see. Well,
I was told that was okay.
that it is okay, but we just need to make sure that you're identified. And then he goes behind a little shelving unit, and then he gets like a clip with a little card on it, and the card says has a big letter M on it, and he clips it. He clips this M card to like one of your ventricles. He's like, "You need to have that shown at all times so that we know you are a person of magical nature."
Fine.
All right, you may proceed.
All right, I'll hop past.
All right. And then the elf, the human to half elf, you're not quite sure, follows behind the escort. He goes, "Well, that went out without a hitch. Thank you very much for being so cooperative about that, everyone. Now I'm going to go see about your physician. The waiting area for the competitors is just beyond this door, and there's an archway to the right. There's food and drinks, refreshments, and there are also servants there who will try to accommodate whatever needs you have if you need something. And I'll be back with the physician for you, Vorel. Sounds good?"
It'll do.
All right, and he takes off down the hallway. All right, so he's going to get a physician. So I will make a note of that. Okay. And you enter into a large antechamber. And in this chamber that's been set up to accommodate competitors, you see that there are 8 areas throughout the room that have sort of a series of tables in a circle. At the one end, there's a long table full of food. There are attendants on either side of the room. You see that all the other competitors have made it there on time. In one corner, you see that there is a pile of young human people, all kind of dressed up in bright clothes, and there's a lot of chatter coming on from that corner. In another corner, you see that there is a fully plate-mailed, armored up human sitting by himself with a mug of mead in front of him, staring off into nothing. In the other corner, you see that there's a halfling surrounded by several women and a few other hangers-on, halfling style. Like they're all halflings, but the women are fully human or elf, like different races, but that they're full grown. In another corner, to your shock, you see an illithid.
Uh-oh.
and he's sitting at a table by himself. Well, he's not by himself. He's sitting at a table with a ghost. There's an illithid sitting there. It's got a piece of metal on the top part of his head, but it's triggering a response in you, Varel, and Nash, having just come from a place where you were at war and suffered greatly at the hands of the illithid. And there's a dwarven ghost that's sitting at a table with him, and they're kind of talking quietly. In another corner, another table, there's what looks to be a tribe of Goliath, large tattooed beings that you've never seen before, just really large beings. They barely sit at the table. In fact, their knees are lifting up the table all kind of together, and it's sort of swaying back and forth. And finally, sitting near the paladin, but not at the same table, facing away, is an orc. The orc is chowing down hardcore on some food. You hear a voice yell out from, it's the halfling surrounded by women, and he goes, "Oh, look who has come in. It appears our final competitor has arrived." Look at these, Kanja. And then in the circle of kids, you see a face go up, and this face is young, youthful, Justin Bieber looking, but it's got a pair of mirror shades, like one big shade across the eyes with purple and magenta, like stylings across the front that's like flishing out. And he goes, looks around, there's a nod, and then he gets back to his friends chatting. And again, you get needled from the entourage, the halfling with the entourage of ladies. It looks like you and I will be meeting first on the field of battle. I hope you are ready, lizard man.
Are we exchanging insults already?
Not insult. I'm saying hello.
Oh, I see. Well, hello to you as well.
I've heard that you've had some difficulty this morning.
Yes.
That is a shame. It is not good. No?
Yes. I've had this conversation before, I believe.
I do not remember having this conversation. Do you, girls? And the girls go, no.
No, in every city there's someone like you, though. Yes. If you've heard the stories, yes? Then you know we are quite adept at dealing with short people, and you will be dealt with as well.
I think he is intimidated. What do you say? And then one of his little halfling friends goes, yeah, he sounds intimidated to me. Well, it's not every day an M Sports competitor is accused of killing a child. It's certainly an interesting way to make a reputation for yourself.
Well, and I'll turn around and walk to the food table as I do. Well, I'm a wild, savage man from a foreign land, and I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I might go crazy here.
And as you make this sort of show, the rest of the competitors all kind of look at you, especially Kanja. His head pokes out from his crowd, and he looks at you and he goes, oh, wait, I said his name. Oops. Well, clearly, he's... the young man with the mirror shades looks on at you, lifts up, and then he gets back into his huddle with his teammates. What do you think, Kanja? Do you think this fresh off the portal man will make it even past the first round in today's competition?
Will someone else in this room please talk with volume?
They all kind of look around, and the dwarf and the illithid sort of seated together look and say, the illithid, rather than speaking telepathically, which is what you have come to know from the illithid, speaks with his octopusy mouth, and he says, you may come sit with us if you wish.
Excellent. Gang, Let us go sit.
Okay, so your group goes to sit with what appears to be an illithid and a ghost dwarf.
Ew.
So he's like, so the dwarf is basically just this white and blue sort of glowing being that's sitting there, and he's got a cup of ethereal mead in front of him as well, and he appears to be drinking from it. And as he drinks from it, you see through him, you see the mead go into his stomach and settle into the stomach. Hello there. You must be Vorel.
That I am.
It's good to make your acquaintance.
It's nice to meet you. And you are?
I'm Tubby Flavorbeard.
Wait, what? Clarification.
I'm Tubby Flavorbeard, but my gamer name is Tubbs9K. It's good to make your acquaintance.
A pleasure, Tubbs.
It's kind of all right since we're not facing each other in the early rounds. We can be friends.
Yes, I would like that.
At least until the finals, should we both make it.
Sure. And maybe we can be friends afterwards as well.
I'd like that, but I've got to ask you a question. Well, maybe Fax over here can ask it. I'm a little nervous asking it myself. And Fax, the illithid, looks to you and says, "There are reports that you murdered a child this morning because your manager was jealous of the attention you paid to it, as she is in love with you. That was what was written in the M Sports emergency bulletin this morning."
Really? Well, that's a fabulous story.
I thought it was quite titillating myself, but I have the very people in front of me to ascertain the veritability of this story.
Well, knowing that scandals do so well in the cities, I would hate to let anyone down.
Is it true?
It's
Leaning
trick.
close.
It's trick. Best trick ever.
There you go.
What do you mean it's a trick? What trick? Right, explain the trick, little one.
No trick's better when no explain.
But is the kid alive?
Who knows? Squirts knows.
And are you in love with your competitor that you manage? Are you a couple?
What? No.
Is
No.
this your child together?
This tiny child. This make no sense.
The rumor is that you were jealous that Vorel was going to have a new son, but he had a son with you, and you killed the other child out of jealousy.
Squirt's not jealous. Squirts play tricks.
So it's not your child then, Vorel.
No, I have
rumor.
fostered no children.
Well, I understand. As a top M Sports competitor and a petitioner, people make all sorts of assumptions about me that aren't true.
I have no doubt.
Well, let's drink up and have a good show today. Yeah?
Yes.
And Fax and Tubbs9K take their mead and gulp it back.
I'll lean back to Nash and whisper to him, "This is great. The story's outrageous. No one would believe it. I can't even..." And I'll gesture at Chunks. Or... Tricks. You know.
Yeah, no, it's a good cover.
It's impossible.
Yeah, there's no way that who would believe that's that there's no way.
Yeah. My point exactly.
Yeah. I don't even want to get into the logistics. I'm just saying.
No, we shouldn't.
No.
Good.
It's a mistake.
Good talk.
Yeah, good talk.
All right. So as you guys have this conversation, the escort comes back in and says, "Excuse me, Vorel. I've got the physician ready to see you. If you'd come with me, please."
Excellent. Excuse me, gentlemen.
All right, and you leave the room and make your way down the hallway to another door, and the door opens up, and it's this sort of more white room with tables and shelves, and it has all kinds of vials on it. And in the middle there's an elf.
Just
Yeah.
going with the vibe, would nothing let me go?
Nothing's following.
Okay, and the half elf looks at you and says, "Please wait outside. It's a physician's meeting."
Nothing gestures. Bodyguard.
Yes, outside for the bodyguard. It's a private meeting between the physician and the competitor, please.
Nothing shakes her head.
Forel, your bodyguard wants to be inside during your private meeting with the physician. Can you explain to it that perhaps you don't want that?
But I do.
Oh, very well. Pardon my presumptiveness. Go on inside. Is anyone else going to the physician's meeting? Forel's physician appointment?
No. I think it would be weird if I was there.
Squirts. All right, we'll assume Squirts. Oh, there's
Squirts will follow.
Okay. And Vorel, was your manager going to attend your physician meeting as well?
Sure, why not?
Yes, we find out who Father of Trunks is.
All right, then. Make your way inside, I suppose. And he just waits outside, close the door. So the three of you are in this room. It's very sterile and clean in there. There's a bed where you can sit up on. And there's an elf, very slender, tall, wearing a white sort of coat, clearly the sign of a doctor. And he says, "Hello, who do we have here? Your name, please."
Vorel Rasvim Kurik.
All right, he picks up a clipboard and begins in a plume and dips it in ink and he begins writing. And you're one of the competitors here.
Yes.
And you say that there is something wrong with you.
Yes, and I will unveil my shoulder from the cape and gesture at it.
I don't know where that came from.
Like,
that-
excuse me. He walks over to a magical contraption in the back that started making noise, and he presses a couple buttons and turns it off.
Sorry. Browser on the PC. It's down. I closed it.
But-
Okay.
That was a hilarious sound. What is that?
I think it's Popeye or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, I got a cough again. I'll be right back.
Well, it's a big one. I can see it.
You're killing me, Scott.
Sorry.
Okay, so he fixes the magical contraption so it stops making noise, and he returns back to you, and he says, "Okay, Vorel, but why don't you sit up on the bed here, and I'll examine your pus-filled shoulder."
Thank you. And I do so.
Okay, and he takes out a stethoscope, and he says, "Please breathe in as deep as you can." And he puts the stethoscope to the chest.
You got it. That sounds good.
Okay, very good, very good. He takes out, as you do that, he takes out a magnifying glass with his other hand, and he peers at the pus.
Yeah.
And when did your symptoms begin?
When I was attacked by ninjas.
And do you remember precisely? See that you survived the attack, but do you remember what injuries you might have sustained during the attack?
Some sort of needles thrown at me.
Right. Okay. Well, sit still. Do not be alarmed. You will see glowing lights. And he rolls up his sleeves and he puts down his equipment, and he touches your chest and your shoulder, and his hands light up. You feel this sort of warmth where he's touching, and he goes, yes. And he takes his hands off and he pulls them away, and he goes, you appear to have been infected with a poison.
Yes. I do not feel well.
I don't know the exact nature of the toxin in your system, but it is clearly having an effect on your neurological system. Yes, you feel sluggish and slow?
Sluggish. Slow.
I would normally recommend a certain mixture of cure that to take 3 times a day and to get bed rest for a week. But you are one of the competitors here, yes?
Yes.
You would like a fair shake at your competition? Well, I can put in something that will temporarily relieve the symptoms for you. And he moves over to one of his cabinets, and he takes out a bottle of pills. He goes, here. Pours them out into his hand, and then he goes over to a bucket with water in it. He scoops out a glass, and he says, take these pills and wash them down with this water. That should relieve the symptoms long enough for you to compete today.
And what do these pills do exactly?
They will reduce the potency of the toxin and its effect on your neurological system long enough for you to feel better, but you will return to your poisoned state in about 8 to 10 hours. This is simply so that you may compete today.
Right. I'll take the pills.
Okay. And how do you take them? As instructed?
I want to take them in my hand
Mm-hmm.
and hold on to them for now.
Okay. You should take the pills now. You have a
Yes.
match very soon. The sooner you take them, the sooner that the medicinal properties will be in effect for you.
That is good. I have a great wave of honesty coming on. I must be going.
Right. And you should seek out a doctor after the competition for a more long-term solution.
That's what
The
you would
toxin.
say. Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me. Why? A little one. Can you make sure he takes those? It's in his best interests to have a fair competition.
Yes, Varel! Chunks, please! Talking with Doctor! We know who your father is. I will make sure Varel does what Varel does.
Very good. If there's anything further, please come back and see me.
Thank you. We're all leaving now.
All right. So you all exit the room, and the escort's outside says, well, that was quick.
Hang on. Nothing. Listen.
For our audio listeners, John's eyebrows went way up on his head.
Yeah, way up.
Listen to the door.
Nothing leans her head against the door.
Perfect. Yes, you were saying. You were saying.
You talking to the escort?
Yes.
What are you getting nothing to do?
I wanted to listen to the door.
Okay. The escort looks at you and goes, well, that was quick. You
Yes,
feel
it was.
better? Did you find a solution to what you needed to?
Much better. Let us move this conversation down the hall.
Okay, and there's nothing coming with us, your bodyguard?
They are sleepy.
Is it just you and him that you're motioning to go down? Or
Well, let us all. We will all go.
okay, what's nothing doing now?
Nothing's currently leaned against the door. based on Varel's comment about being sleepy with her eyes closed.
Okay, so everyone begins walking down the hall except for Nothing, who's pretending to sleep against the door.
And listening.
Oh, and you're listening. Okay,
Yes.
so roll a perception check, please.
13.
All right, through the muffled door, you hear faint singing. The lady of the night, I embraced her forever, but then she found a way to leave. I was in turmoil for months, but finally found peace. And this goes on and on. He's singing some song inside there now that he's alone.
Nothing eventually pulls her head away from the door and will follow after them.
Okay, perfect. So everyone makes their way to the main chamber with Nash sitting with the Illithid Fax, who has some sort of weird metal object on the top of his head, and the ghost Tubby Flavorbeard.
Best name in a while, by the way. Points for that.
Tubby Flavorbeard. All right, you all make your way back in, and from across the hall you hear, "Oh look, the savage has returned."
I will. Nothing. And I'll turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear anything?
The lady of the night.
Nothing just sings the song back to him, but muffled. It sounds exactly how it sounded through the door.
Okay. Lovely. Beautiful. Absolutely. Nash,
Yeah.
I believe that the doctor was also paid off to drug me additionally, which is why this device went off when we entered, because that was like the contact that he was verifying with,
Whoa.
that I was in there to receive additional drugging.
You learned all this in this single visit?
No, this is just what happens in cities.
Oh. Got it. So what now?
I need to know if these pills are real or not. Do you have any way of...
I mean, I could take one.
That would work.
Yeah.
Yes, you would feel the symptoms and you could describe them to me.
I mean, I don't have any reason not to.
You're doing it all the time. You always lick on, and I just start putting one towards his mouth.
All right, I'll do this for the team.
You can finally use your powers for good.
That's right. Or at all. All right, hand me that,
All right.
and I'll eat it.
All right, I'll give him one of the pills.
All right, so give him one of the pills. Do you chew or just swallow?
I'll chew it.
All right, you
and
chew
then-
it into a powder in your mouth. It's dry and pasty.
Gross. Is there any
And
water?
It makes it more difficult to swallow. There's a table full of refreshments and food. You can.
All right, I'll grab a mug or whatever's closest to that sort of thing and drink it down.
All right,
Wash
you
it
drink it
down.
down.
Yeah.
You on your way over there, you briefly sort of nudge the human in full plate armor, and he goes, "Ugh. Watch it."
I'll say, sorry, excuse me.
All right. So the rest happens with that event. You wash it down with what there's red juice. You're not sure what's in the red juice. There appears to be wine, mead. It looks like there's something steaming, probably coffee. It's a full bottle of arcane spice.
Is there anything there that just looks like straight up, like just water, like a clear water? No. All right. I'll do the red, the red juice.
All right. So you take a little looking cup and you sort of dip it into the red bowl, punch bowl, if you will. Drink some of the red juice and wash down little bits of pill in your mouth.
Okay.
You don't really feel any, there's no change in perception or effect of that way. A few minutes goes by and you feel like your aches and pains are relieved somewhat, so you feel a little bit less uncomfortable in your own strange body.
Okay.
No ill effects.
All right. I'll convey that to Varel.
We need friends, and I'll take the pills.
Okay, perfect. Do you wash them down with anything, or?
Unless I have to, I would try to just like down it.
Okay.
But if I get that ghost pill in my throat, I got to get rid of that. And
Yeah.
drink
Yeah, Constitution roll, please. Let's see how good you are at sucking back a pill.
19.
All right, they go right in.
Pretty good.
Yep. So you have the pill. You've taken both the pills, and you let a few minutes go by, and you begin to recover your poison effect. It's cleared for now.
Temporarily cleared.
Mm-hmm.
And Nash has never felt better.
All right, so let's see
For now.
what we're doing next here. All right, so you guys still have a bit of time before the first competition starts. You're not quite sure when exactly it's going to start. No one's come to get anyone. Everyone's just in their own circles. But is there anything that you want to accomplish here in this room, or do you want to move on to the next phase?
I don't have anything to do.
Yeah,
Nope.
let's advance.
Yeah, nothing. Just keeps an eye on Burrell. Keeps an eye on other competitors. Make sure nothing shifty is happening.
All right. Well, your escort comes in, and he brings in with him a scroll, and he says, "Excuse me, competitors of the great M Sports Big Time Smackaroo Finals. Welcome and congratulations on making it this far. The first round of matches is about to begin, and I'm going to be announcing the pairings for this round. First up, we have Damiel Conja Cop versus Brixter Blanca. Next up, that'll be the first match. Next up, we have. Wait, I gotta write down something. Sorry. Gotta write down what I did. Okay, next up, we have Asenad of the Exiles, who will be up against Fax. And that the Paladin and the Illithid sort of look towards each other and they go, they start nodding. The next pairing will be Gofulmunch versus Tubby Flavorbeard. And the dwarf goes, "That's Tubbs 29K. That's my proper name. Tubbs 9K. Introduce me as that." And he goes, "Okay, Tubbs 9K. And finally, we have Gerbkin Mindmaster Shartlinger versus Vorel Rasvim Keurig.
Shartlinger?
And then Shirtlinger.
All right.
And the halfling that's surrounded by women looks over to you, Vorel, and goes, "Finally, we will fight one another. May the best competitor win. No one beats the Mind Master."
Who are the guys in Phantom Menace? What were they called?
The Nemoidians.
Yeah, that's what that sounds like. I like it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So you'll be the last of the four pairings. So as time goes by, the competitors begin to leave, and you start hearing the thunderous applause outside in the Coliseum. You think it's a little bit above. It sounds like maybe you're a bit below ground, and you hear stomping and eventually, Kanja and Blanca have left, and only Kanja returns after that match. And then Arsenad and Fax go out to compete, and then after that, only Arsenad comes back. And then Goful Munch and Tubbs 9K go to compete, and only Tubbs 9K comes back. And then finally, the escort comes in and says, "It's now time for the competitors for the next match. The final in this round. It's going to be Gerbkin and Vorel. Please follow me." And then he turns around and he looks at the no entourages to come with us on the stage. There is a box where you can view the matches from. Just please make your way this way. And he points there, and you'll find the boxes for the managers and the support team. Okay. Any last things you'd like to do?
I'm ready.
All right, then come with me. Just the two competitors, please. And then the halfling, as he makes his way to where you are, and he's accompanied by a woman. And this woman has black hair and distinct eyes. And then she picks up the halfling and gives him a deep, deep kiss. And as she's kissing him, she opens her eyes, Varel, and looks at you. And a streak of recognition enters you. You've seen these eyes. These eyes were in your hotel room last night.
Whoa.
She finishes the kiss and says, "Good luck, Gerbkid. Show this fresh off the portal Billy of the Hill who the real man of the stadium is." And he goes, "Yes, I will. I'll be back here soon with my victory intact. Come now, Varel. Let us see what the results of our match will be."
I will bend down close to the halfling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will whisper, "She was in my bed last night."
Whoa.
Oh. That... You must have had some sort of flight of fancy from your injury.
It was the heat of the moment.
No one can say that the lizard man does not have an active imagination. And then he begins walking down the hallway. Come, Varel. Let us see what you are truly made of.
Meat.
You fight a real competitor. And then you guys both walk down exchanging words, and then all of a sudden light spills into the hallway, and it opens up into a giant coliseum. And there are people from wall to wall. It's a giant circle all around you, and then there's this general standing area, and you step out onto these steps onto a large stage in the middle, and there must be tens of thousands of people, just wall to wall people with flags, signs. And then as the Mind Master moves out, you hear a giant cheer like, yeah! And this person clearly has his fans, and the little halfling raises his hands up and bows with great poise. And he goes, "Yes, I will destroy my competition today. I will win." And then he bows towards everyone. And then Varel, the escort, looks at you and says, "Oh, it's your turn to make your first appearance here, Varel. Good luck."
Can they hear me out there?
It's quite loud. They're not likely to hear you.
So he was talking to himself.
It's part of the
Then
show.
I'll go. Then I'll go.
It's part of the show. It says it as you go up. And then as soon as your head appears, the Coliseum gets quiet. And you hear, boo! 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 And then there's this chorus that goes, "Child killer! Child killer!
Wow.
Child killer!
World
Child
travels
killer!"
fast. That's crazy.
And then the whole Coliseum is like, boo! And then a whole pile of vegetables come sailing their way through the air at you, and you're hit with celery and tomato and heads of lettuce as things start flying towards you. Bow, bow! And you see there's these security orcs that just rush into the crowd and start pummeling people for throwing stuff. It's like, boo, boo, this little scrum and scruffle. He's like, bow, bow, bow. And then as you make your way onto the stage, how do you do? There's a marionette table with the seats there, and there's a stage area where you can sort of shout at people. And you look over to the left, you see a raised column where your friends are watching from above in a sort of box seat that's near the stage. Is there anything you'd like to say or do in front of these tens of thousands of M Sports fans that revile you right now?
I mean, I've never been in this situation, so I think the first thing I do is enter my rage being assaulted and start flame bursting all the fruit that's flying at me and battling said fruit backwards. So, plant my feet, just, enter my rage and just start deflecting as best I can and, punching the apples as they fly. And
okay.
So
And the escort comes out real quickly, and then there's another gruff-looking human comes up, and he takes the whistle and goes, and he does this sort of motion. He's like, you've got to stop that now. No magical tricks on the stage. Cease this at once, or you'll be disqualified.
All right, with rage still in my eye, I turn to him. They're assaulting me.
Well, perhaps you shouldn't kill children. Now, take your place on the stage and get ready for competition.
I have killed no child.
Burn! Burn!
It was my manager. He's still alive. I argue with the crowd.
They can't hear you. They're just booing you. And then the escort comes up and he says, Vorel, probably not good to rile them up. Just take your seat and play your match out and just pretend they're not there. It'll only make it worse.
I could take him. I'll go to the seat.
There you go to the seat, and the halfling raises an eyebrow, looks over you, and he goes, not a very good reception for your first appearance at a final. You may be good at fighting, but you have much to learn about being a celebrity.
You sicken me on so many levels.
Well, prepare to be sickened one last time as I beat you at M Sports. And he puts his halfling hands on the thing. It will take a lot to beat a Mind Master. He puts his hands on the stick.
I'll grab my stick.
All right, and then an announcer comes up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Knight 6, and I'm going to be your caster for this particular match. We've got a big grudge match. In one corner, we have the Mind Master, a devious intellect with a long-standing history of M Sports competition. And also joining us is Vorel, the savage lizard folk who will kill man, woman, and child, as evidenced this morning in the much rumored story. This savage versus this intellectual. The competition for the ages will begin soon. As you know, the marionette selection has been limited as the competition in full has been compromised from this regard. So there will still only be the 3 marionettes to choose from. However, we are excited to let this match start soon. Competitors, are you ready? Yes, I am ready, says says the Mind Master.
Is it Mario all of a sudden? I am ready.
Yes, I am
go.
ready. Sorry.
Let's go.
Whatever. I suck at voices. Let's go. Vorel?
Ready.
Then let the competition begin. And then you see the selection screen go up. Boom! And this is the largest marionette station you've ever seen. The marionettes are like 20 feet tall, and it lights up, and all the names are there. And he immediately is running into selection. Roll for initiative to see who gets to select first.
Got a 15.
All right, 7. You were able to select first.
Kung.
All right, you selecting Kung, and as Kung jumps up onto to the stage, into the stall, he says, what does he say again? My kingdom lives so long as I do, as he kicks the air. And then the Mind Master selects Rubles. And Rubles goes, I hear and obey you, oogie boogie. And and the match is about to begin. The countdown goes 3, 2, 1. And the crowd is silent. And I think here we take our break.
All right.
And we resume when it comes back.
Yeah, good idea. All right, we'll be back, everybody, in just a minute. Go grab yourself something to drink, take a pee, and we'll be back in just a moment. Oh, let's have that crowd get